Hi, everyone. Tom Keelan here. Welcome to this brief introduction to how to use the ELD, that is Equally Likely Data, Metalog's Excel workbook. The worksheet I'm showing here is one that you can download, and I suggest that you do in conjunction with listening to this video. If you go to the Software tab on the Metalog Distributions website, click ELD Metalog Workbooks. It'll come up with a screen, and the one you would download here is the single data set ELD workbook. That is the one on the left. Okay, so let's get started. What exactly are we seeing here in this workbook? What we are illustrating here is that here, in terms of the data, I have entered only the X data, that is the observable data that could have come from a simulation or empirical observation, or really any other source where the data is considered to be equally likely. And here I'm just counting the number of data there. I can put in any number of data from 2 to 10,000. In this particular case, I simply have 10 points off of the CDF of a standard normal distribution. And here are the metalogs that fit that. Here's the metalog panel. And the controls I've previously described in the video on the Metalogs workbook. So if you're not familiar with controls, I'd go back and listen to the video on the Metalogs workbook. But here, the only difference between this spreadsheet and the Metalogs workbook spreadsheet is the fact that you're not entering any probabilities associated with those data. This workbook assumes that those data are equally likely. And in fact, over here, and you would not need to modify this, but over here, it's got a set of formulas for assigning the probability associated with each of the data points. And in this column, those data points are reordered from lowest to highest, and these are consistent cumulative probabilities are assigned to that, and that's what the dots are on. Those are the data points that are shown on this CDF curve. So that's really all there is to it. Now, how would you use this workbook to quickly find a metalog distribution that fits your data? Well, in order to do that, I'm going to take some data from another workbook. Here, I just happen to have 3,474 samples of the weight of Babine steelhead on the Babine River in British Columbia. And so let me copy those. There are 3,400 of them. I'm going to copy them. And then I'm going to paste them into this field right here. Special values, there we go. And now I've got the 300, now I've got the steelhead samples here. I could go through and rename these fields and of course rename the points on the graph. I'm not going to bother to do that right now. But the point I want to make is once you put in your data, you can put in your data from any source at all. This workbook will instantly give you a choice of metalogs from 2 terms up to 16 terms. If they are blank here in this metalog panel, that means the metalogs are infeasible for that number of terms and that particular data set. But in this case, I've got this set to unbounded, and if I want a metalog that really will represent that data well, it should be a semi-bounded metalog with a lower bound of 0. So for that same data, I'll choose the SL, the semi-bounded metalog. I'll choose the lower bound of 0. I could change that. I could make that -5 or something, but for the weight of a steelhead trout, 0 is a natural lower bound. Now I have a metalog with proper lower bound, and then it's just a matter of choosing among all these metalogs. Since I know that the distribution is bimodal, for reasons explained in my paper and in the Wikipedia article on metalog distributions, I would probably pick a 10-term metalog for this, as opposed to a 3-term. I can click that in there. And there you have it. And there you have it. So it's taken me, what, 30 seconds or 15 seconds or so to find a metalog that fits my data. You could feel free to obviously erase this data and put in any data of your choosing from any source and quickly determine a metalog that best fits it. That concludes this video, and in the next video, I'll talk about how to extend this data set for ELD metalogs for multiple data sets, all in one worksheet where you can sort through and quickly get metalogs for each of multiple data sets. Thanks very much. Have a good day.